Hey everybody, that is Gary Smith. That is Kaz Kenny.
Kapow!
And I am Eddie Bramble, and this is episode 32 of the Blackwaters Edge podcast. Kaz, why don't you start us off with this week's fishing report?
She must have reported. It looks like all the water dried up, all the fish have melted into the mud, and all the grass has dried up. So,
Water's definitely low. That's for sure.
well, it's been hot. It has been so hot. I mean, it has just been unbelievably hot for weeks, it feels like. You know, I don't know about anybody else here, but I'm ready for ice fishing. I'm ready for hunting.
Whoa. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
We'll just take him Dairy Queen. He'll be fine.
That's right.
the peanut butter milkshakes, you guys.
I will take hot weather over snow any day of the week.
Well, I mean, pretty much the lowdown's pretty much what it's been the last couple of weeks. You know, we're seeing a little bit of everything everywhere. So, you know, in the refuge, you know, you're going to catch some snakeheads, you're going to catch some bass, you're going to catch some catfish, you're going to catch some stripers, you're going to catch some crabs. So you'll catch a little bit of everything depending on where you go and what you do. The normal hot spots, you know, DeCourcy, Drawbridge, Aries, Key Wallace, Maple Dam. I mean, all these spots are producing fish. Where the catches that we're seeing have been pretty good from what we're seeing. You know,
Yeah,
what I
Alex
mean?
got a nice one today, so like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
I think Alex and them got 3 today, from what I understand.
Yeah, 3 or 4, I think.
One big one. Yeah.
And while we're talking about fishing, I might as well talk about Eddie. Eddie got a little fishing in last week.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, Eddie. You caught 3 fish, didn't you?
Yeah, I went with Gary. What day we go, Gary?
Friday.
Friday, yeah. And I caught 3. Gary had a couple misses, I think.
Yeah.
And I had one miss. I missed one on. I caught all 3 of mine on the hyperelastics dart spin.
Ta-da!
Yeah, well, actually, it was a different color than what Gary's holding, but mine was the fire tiger one. All 3 of them
And we've been talking about that bait for several weeks
all
now,
year.
you know?
Yeah,
I mean,
all year.
ever since you went down to the show, you know.
Yep.
you
Caught
know,
that one, 2 feet from
Yeah,
the side
not
of the boat,
even.
literally.
Yeah, the big one, the 30-inch one. He was only about 6, or she was only about 6 pounds, and but she was 30 inches, and she swirled about 2 feet from the boat, and I just dropped the lure right in there, and let it swim, and all of a sudden, bam, there it went.
I tell guys all the time, when you see them do that swirl on the top and you see them come and gulp that air, if you can get right in there right away real quick and get that reaction, man, you can get them real fast. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what it was. And yeah, we had a good time. I missed one on the live target crawdad. She took that one, and I didn't even know there's a fish on there. I was retrieving, and I guess they were swimming right back at me at the same speed I was retrieving, and didn't even know there was fish on there until we got to the boat. And when I tried to set the hook, she was already gone.
I've been telling a lot of people, you know, don't overlook them live target crayfish. I mean,
yeah.
There's some good baits. I mean, we've been using them for several years down here. We don't really talk about them a lot. We should probably talk about them more than we do.
Mm-hmm.
I know we just got some more back in. The wall's looking pretty full with them things, so, you know, you might want to try some of them when you're down here.
It was like close to 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Full sun.
Mm-hmm.
We were in a shaded spot and nothing swirling, nothing moving. Went out in full sun and they were everywhere.
Well, we got out there early. We were out there about
that's what I mean.
6:30,
In the
and we
morning.
didn't see a bite until 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we went there because I thought it would be better cooler, but they wanted to.
Now, when you guys started hooking up, was it all pretty much kind of in that same time frame? Like
No, it was spread out. I mean, we caught those 3 probably over the course of an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was spread out pretty good. We stayed out there till about 11:30, I think. And but yeah, it turned on about 9:30 and caught those 3 in the 2 hours and done by 11:30.
I'll be honest, I was pretty jealous when I saw the picture pop up and I saw Eddie standing there with that big stick. I was like, you turkeys, man. God dang it. But you know what? It was Monday. I wasn't getting out of bed anyway, so it didn't matter, you know what I'm saying?
Don't be too jealous. I think that's only the second time I've been fishing all year.
Look, I ain't going to lie. I'm not jealous about anything. I've been spending the majority of my time with 2 dogs in the air condition, playing the old Nintendo, the old Atari 2600, and just passing the day away. And if I can sneak out and get a little cast down around one of the ditches or something like that, I sneak out and do it. Oh, that's the other thing I want to talk about. While we're talking about the fishing report, you know, you guys always hear me talk about the lunker hunt pocket frogs, and man, they're just destroying them in the ditches right now. You know, the good thing about this time of the year, the summer's here, we can get our topwater bite. You know, so a lot of anglers that don't want to throw bait, or a lot of guys that want to, you know, try new things and try new lures, this is the time to do it. You know, this is a time when you're going to find some aggressive times, you're going to find some dead times, but in those aggressive times, you can really find some fish that are hungry and that will just attack anything you practically throw at them. So don't be afraid to try some new stuff. You know, we were talking with some guys the other day. You know, here's something I'm thinking about doing. I was saying something to Eddie about this before the tournament. I think it's time that we look in our boxes at some of the old lures that haven't been out for, say, the last 20 years. And I think what I'm going to do, and I was talking to Wes Denon the other day about some of this too. You know, he's the one who actually brought it to my attention. He said, I found this old lure. You think this would work? I said, yeah, man. I said, that thing would definitely work. Think about all these lures here that are working and how many lures you got laying around that you just don't know about. You know what I mean? So I think the challenge is going to be, and maybe we're going to come up with some fancy way to do this. How can we bring back some vintage fishing lures, you know, in the group, and let's go out and test them and let's see if they work, and let's get the reports back. You know, just one more step to make it more intriguing for the angler.
Well, I can tell you who's going to win that tournament already. What's his name that was here with that tackle box?
Rob Valentine.
Yes, Rob. Yeah. When Rob had that tackle box, man, you could just smell the history coming out of that box when he opened it up.
And I'll tell you what, Rob's seen my box too, so I'd have to give him a little run for his money. So I love Rob though. But yeah, as far as the fishing goes, let's get to that so we can get in the show. Some bass are being caught. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm seeing this year. I'm not seeing the numbers of pictures of bass this year that we saw last year. I don't know if anybody's picking up on any of that. You know, look at the number of snakehead pictures versus
they've
bass.
been nice, but not just only two that we've caught all year.
I mean, most all the guys I'm talking to, that's what they're saying. They're saying, you know what, we caught them big bass all over the place last year, and this year we're not seeing many. I mean, remember what the biologist said. You know, we're getting to that time frame where the bass are at that mature level, and the males are not there to keep the cycle going. So as these fish continue to grow, we're going to unfortunately continue to see the decline of the fish, you know, and that's nothing that we can really do about that, other than as an angler try to harvest a few more if we can, you know. So the good news is you come down, you spend the day, you're gonna catch something, you know. It's not going to be a cold either, so you know, you get some sunburn, bring your sunscreen. I think that's another thing people need to start thinking about. And there's a lot of people who are sunburned down here, got that real red nose going on, and you know it's really important to get some sunscreen on your skin, especially if you're a fair-skinned person like myself. You know what I mean? So
I'll tell you something else. Your eyes. Oh, you go out all day long if you don't have sunglasses on. Oh, it's you get like welding flash all night.
It's funny you say that because yesterday on WBOC they actually had a segment in there about sunburn on the eyes, and I honestly never even really thought about that. You know what I mean?
It's real.
So yeah, that's something I learned the other day. Yeah,
sunburn
on your eye is real. Just don't use solar cane. You know, so.
I've always been one of them big, you know, like the Timex watch instead of a Rolex, and $10 Walmart sunglasses. And I just went and paid a good chunk for a pair of Coasters the other day.
Oh yeah, finally got one.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I've had like 3 or 4 of them Costa pairs, and I lose sunglasses like you wouldn't believe because you see me all the time. I'll put them on my hat like that.
Well, I got the lanyard on. I've got my cheesy ones for cutting grass and weed eating, but I'm gonna wear them when I'm on the water.
I'm like Kaz. I lose sunglasses too often to spend some money on them.
I mean, it says I have put them on my hat, and I'm out there pulling ditches, and the frag hits it, knocks it off. I don't see it, you know, or I might be riding down the road listening to some headbanging music, start banging my head, they fly out the window.
I'm like the Geico guy with the bag of money riding down the road, going out the window. Yep, I've lost a lot of pair of sunglasses.
Well, that's all I really got on the fishing report. You know, just put your time in. You know, don't be afraid to try some new stuff. It's hot, so there's those exciting topwater crashing lures that you want to use. You know, and you want to see the excitement of the blow up. Then
that's what Alex called his dragon on today was topwater.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is, they've seen everything in everybody's tackle box, which is all kind of new stuff. You throw something old out there, they haven't seen it.
Well, see, that's kind of what I was thinking like that because you guys know me. I always. Every now and then I'll find a new lure I want to go try, and then you'll see me just hammer that thing for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, they've already seen it in my spot, so I'm going to switch back and do something else. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea. But, look, we've got a great show coming today. We've got a great guest here today. Gary was not here the last time, right. And Gary's the one who orchestrated everything with the last setup for us.
Made a phone call and everything.
I was very excited to get here at 4:30 and see Gary sitting down at the table and not you saying, "Oh, Gary's on his way to the hospital, man. He's not going to make it today." So I don't know if anybody remembers, but that was what happened the last time on the podcast. Was Gary was supposed to be here and he got sick when Marcia came and he didn't get to see Marcia. So Gary's here today, and I know he's happy about that.
Parts.
Don't say that.
Everything now they got to rebuild, buddy.
Don't say that. You might sunburn your eyes tomorrow. You know, so.
But yeah, Marcia's also actually our first repeat guest on the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's an honor.
Yeah. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Pull the mic a little bit closer to it, please. Thank you. Yeah. So
we got Marcia here today, so let's go ahead and introduce Marcia, Eddie.
So for those of you who don't know, Marcia is the Marcia. You're the director.
I'm the refuge manager.
The refuge manager.
Project leader.
Project
Yeah.
leader of the Chesapeake Marshlands,
Yes,
right?
that's correct.
So-
Yeah.
And so, for those who don't know, didn't see the podcast last time, just tell a little bit about what you do.
Sure. Well, I'm, like you said, the project leader for Chesapeake Marshlands National Wildlife Refuge Complex. And if you've been to Blackwater and you've never heard that, what that means is I'm basically the refuge manager for 4 different refuges in the Delmarva area. Blackwater's the big one that everybody knows. We have most of our visitation. There's also Eastern Neck, which is up near Rock Hall, Maryland. So if you've never been there, I encourage you to go check it out. As well as Martin National Wildlife Refuge, which is on Smith Island, which is closed to the public, but a lot of people go by there, fish, hunt, etc. And also Susquehanna National Wildlife Refuge.
Very good.
Susquehanna Wildlife Refuge, is that the one up, I guess, in Susquehanna River, correct?
Yeah, it's a very small, it's there for waterfowl.
Is
Yep.
That's not the Garrett Island, is it?
Yes,
That is Garrett.
Yeah.
Okay, see, that's what I thought
that's
it was.
that area. Yep, yeah.
So that's actually still considered part of the Chesapeake Marshlands.
Yeah, yeah.
wow, that's a
it's
ways
a
up
little
there.
bit of anomaly.
Yeah.
That's for sure. That's a long story.
Had to put it somewhere.
That's right.
Yeah, pretty much. They had to give it to somebody.
Well, I know I grew up pretty much fishing the Bush River and stuff, and later ventured into Susquehanna, and Garrett Island was a place that always intrigued me, simply because we couldn't go on it to begin with, but second of all, just because you'd see all the big deer in there on the island, things like that, I'm like, man, you think, how can something live on that island out there? Because it's not really that big, really, in my opinion. They could swim back and forth if they want to, you know what I'm saying? So that was really a really neat little island to see up there, for sure.
Yeah, we were trying to do a partnership with the state and some other local officials and such to kind of open Garrett Island up to a little bit of public use, but that just hasn't panned out quite yet.
So let's talk about. I just want to kind of do like we did on the last show. Let's tell you a little bit about yourself, how you got into what you're doing, hunting, fishing, what you like to do. The dogs, we know you love your dogs.
Oh, I love them.
So
Sure. Well, I've always loved the outdoors and wildlife and animals, quite honestly, ever since I was just a little girl. I think I told you last time too, one of my first memories fishing was when my dad was still alive, and I had to have been less than 5 because he died in an accident when I was 5, and he would take me out fishing. And I remember my first fish was a teeny tiny little minnow, so I always loved catching the first of any fish that I catch. But that certainly sparked from my mom and my dad, a love of the outdoors, and we'd go camping during the summers because he was a teacher, so we got to do a lot of fun things during the summer. And after that, I just continued to try and fish, even without him around. Didn't know much what I was doing, but it was something that I could access. I could tumble down the big, steep cliff in the back of my yard, which is what I did. Parents back then weren't as,
Right.
overly protective, I think.
Right.
Not helicopter parents.
No, my mom was not a helicopter
That was
parent.
pre-liability days.
Yeah.
That's right.
Either that or she didn't realize what I was doing, which could be.
All of the above.
Yeah, but I'd go back there and fish for trout, and there was carp and things like that because I grew up in western Pennsylvania. So I loved fishing ever since then, and I started to get a little bit more, skilled later as I got older, and got into fly fishing when I was in college, and just love to fish wherever I go. I didn't get into hunting until I was in my, I started target shooting clays basically in late teens, and then started hunting actually in my mid-20s. Wasn't sure if I could do it. Absolutely loved being outside, loved everything about hunting, but really didn't know if I could actually take an animal.
Right.
So when I did, though, I discovered a whole new passion. And so I've been hunting since then. Started off with bird hunting and deer hunting, and have moved on to other species as well, with turkey hunting being my absolute favorite, followed by sika hunting very close behind. So just really enjoy getting out there, being on the water, being in the woods, doing that sort of thing. And I love helping other people get involved too. Yeah.
How about your education? Where did you go to school? I mean, how did you get to the position where you are? What got you there?
Sure.
Well, I mean, we know there's kids out there that are watching and thinking that they want to do something like you're doing later in life. I mean, this is God's honest truth. When I was a kid, I was on a television show called Heads Up, and it was for 5th graders, and it was for kids that were fairly smart. believe it or not. I was smart at
I
one
don't
time.
believe that at
I'm
all.
being serious. So the guy there would ask the kids, what they wanted to be when they grew up. It was 3 of us on a team in each of these little boxes. And he came to me and he says, what do you want to be when you grow up, Kaz? And I says, I want to be a forest ranger. And if you just watched it, like I watched it a couple weeks ago just to watch it again, and he said, why do you want to be a forest ranger? And I paused for a minute and I just kind of sat there. I looked back up and I said, well, because I love animals. And he said, well, that's a good reason to be a forest ranger. And I just want to because you made me think about this hunting-wise. My first hunting trip was with my cousin Ricky. And I remember I was like you. I loved everything. I loved fishing, but like when I found a lizard, I wanted to play with it and hold it. When I found a little baby bunny, I wanted to go up to the vets and get some bitch's milk and feed it and try to raise it. If I was just always like that. So when the hunting thing came about, I think I was kind of like you. I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this. I remember we sat up in a wagon and we were, the guy's name was Norman Hooker. It was in Harford County and it was in Abingdon, somewhere on the farm. And I remember he had a crop damage permit, and my cousin said, oh, those are the best kinds to get because you can shoot them all year long. So I'd never been hunting, and he agreed to go with me kind of to like be my guide because I'd never done it. We got through the safety course and everything and all that. I remember sitting in the wagon on this farm over this pumpkin patch. And I couldn't believe that deer ate pumpkins, Like the farmer's telling us, yeah, they come out there and they just start stomping them with their feet, and then they just open them up and go to town. And we're sitting there hunting, and he goes, hey, man, you ain't even looking. And I wasn't. You know me, Mr. OCD. I'm looking at everything else. Right out in front of us is a deer, right? And he goes, all right, put the gun up. So I put the gun up. He says, put the crosshairs on its shoulder. So I did. He goes, are you ready? I said, I don't think so. He said, come on, man. I said, Rick, what if I heard it? He said, you ain't got much time, man. He said, you better make up your mind what you want to do, dude. And I don't know what happened, but I was just like, kind of like, I don't think I closed my eyes, but like, it was kind of like that sensation of you close your eyes and just pulled the trigger and waited to see what was there. And I pulled the trigger and I hit the deer and it rolled down the hill and he grabbed me by the arms and said, come on, we gotta go get it. So we run after this deer and get up on the top of the hill and we're looking down over the bank and there's the mom standing over the deer I just shot, nudging it with its head, right? And I said, Rick, he goes, shoot it. I was like, I'm not shooting, it's Mom. He said, give me the gun. He grabbed the gun and the mom took off, But like, I stood there at that moment kind of stuck. Man, my cousin was going to shoot its mom, man. And then...
It's the moment you know you're not a serial killer.
But then I remember the thought was this, I did it. And then the more I thought about it, I'm going to eat it. And I remember hearing my dad, don't ever harvest something if you're not going to eat it.
That's right.
That's right, yep.
And I think that's kind of how it happened for me. So I was kind of like you in a lot of ways. I'm a big lover. I hate to say it like that, but I don't know.
Well, that's why when we're doing, like, for instance, last time I talked about our first shot mentored hunts, we're trying to avoid a first experience like yours.
Right.
We're trying to, and we're trying to let them get comfortable with this and think about the ethics of it and what they're comfortable doing and take it at their own pace. So not shoot it, you have 1 second. We don't want to do that because there is a lot when you harvest an animal. That's a big responsibility.
Absolutely.
You become part of the cycle of life. It's a whole new connection to nature that you can't understand unless you've done it. And then you're respectful of the animal. You're processing it, to gut it and then to actually skin it and prepare the meat and eat it. It's just you can't experience it unless you actually do it, understand it unless you experience it. So we're trying, it's a whole big process, and it just puts you actually into nature like nothing else before.
I couldn't have heard it any more perfect
Yeah,
than
that's the best way to describe it, honestly. I mean, so tell a bit more about the mentorship program.
Sure. Well, COVID kind of put a little monkey wrench into things lately, but we are looking at doing it again for this fall, perhaps in a different way. And what this is we put out an application for people, adults over 18 who have never hunted before and don't know anybody to take them. And then we pair them with volunteer mentors from this area, people who just happen to hunt around Dorchester County, National Wild Turkey Federation members, some staff, myself and others, and we pair them up and we help them through the experience of learning how do you go out and hunt? How do you prepare for it? It's not just the hunt, it's the preparation ahead of time. It's setting up game cams, it's going out and scouting, learning about tree stands, taking them out to sight in a rifle or a shotgun for turkey hunting, and then actually taking them out and afterwards as well. So it's an experience, and what we've tried to do in the past and has worked very well, and we're going to try and figure out how to do it into the future, is really help create a community amongst the new hunters. And the mentors
that's deer
as
and
well.
turkey, correct?
Deer and turkey. So we do it in spring for turkey. That's what we first started off with, and then we do it in the fall for sika and whitetail, of course, as well. And we've got private landowners who volunteer and say, "Hey, I'll take a new hunter out, or you can bring a mentor and mentee to my place and take a doe." So it can really can help out the landowner as well. And then they come back, they can apply and come back again for a second hunt for the other deer. Because as you know, not all hunting's the same. Some people really like deer, some people like turkey, some people like both. And even if they come and they say, "Hey, this isn't quite for me," at least they've got to experience it in a positive way with positive people. But we haven't seen that. We've seen people really get into it and enjoy it. And then what we've found too is some of their relatives have applied and come to the program as well. So
very cool.
Yeah, it's exciting. So we just need to figure out how we can do it for this fall if everything continues.
It's hard to social distance in deer stands.
Right.
Deer stands now going to be 8 feet long. 6 feet.
But you know what? We already wear masks,
That's
right?
right.
So we got half of that down. So I don't know that, but that's what we do to try and help people get out and experience the outdoors in the refuge in a different way, because fishing's a lot more accessible to people.
Right.
It's easy to go and pick up a rod from Walmart and go out and throw it. The worst that's going to happen is you might catch your neighbor or something with the lure.
Or their cat.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
That's another story. I'll tell that on another episode. I did one time.
That took a turn for the dark real quick.
I shouldn't have went there.
No.
But would love to do something like that for first shot for angling in the future as well.
that-
So we'll
that
see how
would-
everything goes.
Idea. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and it'd be something. Yeah. Anyways, sometimes people need a little bit of help. The people who've already know how to or know somebody or are adventurous enough, kind of like myself when I was younger, to just go do it. They're doing it. But what about those people who think, "Hey, this is cool. I don't know where to start," especially when it comes to hunting and firearms, or, it's a whole different story. You need a helping hand.
It's like with snakeheads. You would think everybody's caught one. It amazes me how many people. What is 2 fellas we saw last Friday coming in?
Yep.
They'd both just caught their first ones. It had been a few times.
Yeah, they said they were out 3 or 4 or 5
TJ and
times.
I remember the other fellow's name, but yeah.
Well, you know what? Going out and not having success the first couple times, I think, is like the best thing that could happen.
too.
Exactly.
Because then you appreciate it. You've learned something, because we usually learn most from our failures, whether we want to admit it or not.
That's right.
Oh, be an expert in something.
I think the biggest thing that you hit on there was the helping others.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I see with not so much the fishing side, but the hunting side, is the youth are starting to thin out. And I know, just like anybody else, that if we lose that youth, then we're going to lose the future for that program, whatever it is. So I think that it's really good to hear that, that helping others is what's driving that. You know what I'm saying? Especially with everything that's going on right now in society. You know what I'm saying? We need more people out there helping others. And that's something that's missing from some of the fishing, scene too. And it needs to come back. I learned to fish because people helped me. I learned to hunt because, like Marcia said, people helped me, So that's really good to hear. Marcia, I've seen a lot of Facebook stuff you got going on this year.
Yeah.
Let's tell us about some of the adventures you've had this summer. I've seen some big flounder pictures.
Yeah. So moving to the Eastern Shore, that's been 4 years now, has been exciting because there's always something to do year-round outdoors. So that's been great. So last weekend I went clamming for the first time, something I've never done before. I loved it. It was a lot of work. It was like hoeing your garden, but you're in the water.
That's a good description.
Yeah, that's what it was. But it was fun. And then coming back and, steaming them and shucking them and processing them and eating them all sorts of different ways was just a ton of fun. Went out flounder fishing earlier this year, caught a few nice ones and some rockfish, and stocking up the freezer with perch so we can have that year round.
Oh, sea bass too, didn't you?
Yes, I did. So we did something we probably, I don't know if we should have or not. But we took a boat that probably wasn't really, shouldn't be taking it out 10 miles offshore of the city.
I think we've all done something like that before.
But I'm game, and when my fiance said, hey, well, the conditions are going to be perfect. They're going to be calm. We can take the Carolina skiff out. I swear. So we did. So we went out to the bass grounds and off Ocean City, and I caught my first little sea bass, and it was little. It kind of reminded me when I was that little girl with a little minnow, because it's like this, if I catch the more real keeper size, it's going to be like, oh, that's nothing. But the first time you catch a new species, it's cool. So, and it was so pretty and a little iridescence. Yeah. So caught some sea bass and triggerfish, which are one of my favorite fish.
Yeah, they're cool to catch.
Oh my gosh, that was a lot of fun. So we got to do that in the skiff in the ocean.
In the Carolina skiff.
Yeah.
You're braver than me. I ain't kidding. You're braver than me.
It was beautiful out. It was so much fun. So I hope to be able to, in the future, do some more offshore fishing as well. But most of it's been in the rivers here. And
offshore's fun, but I'd recommend a little bit bigger than the Carolina skiff next time.
He's probably going to be mad at me that I mentioned that.
That's okay.
But the conditions were right. We were very safe.
There you go.
We never went further than cell phone distance. I made sure of that.
You get these bluebird days, and you can go a long ways.
It
out.
was. It was. It was really cool though. So yeah, that's been some of the things I've been doing this summer. Mostly every weekend going out fishing or crabbing or clamming, and then eating.
Living the dream.
Eating,
right?
That's right. I love eating them, and yeah, it's been great. So the whole COVID thing that way hasn't changed things a whole lot for me, because I just like to get outside.
That's right.
That's
one thing the outdoors people have really taken advantage of in the COVID situation is getting out and going fishing and getting all their chores done basically for hunting, getting them done early. Yeah. And really taking advantage of the COVID.
A country boy or girl can survive.
It's just nice to be out on the water.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It is. What was it? I guess 2 weeks ago that you and I went back in Blackwater. That was nice.
Oh, that was a beautiful day too. The clouds kept that sun in check, and a little breeze, no flies. Yeah, that was a beautiful day.
Neat to see it, because you've seen it from the land, but not from the water. Not the land from the water. So it was kind of neat to do.
Different perspective.
Yeah, that perspective is always cool to see. And when Gary and I went Friday. What was it, last Friday? Yeah. And it was just beautiful. Yeah. And we had a really nice day too. Yeah. Just beautiful, calm water, and that makes all the difference when you have a beautiful day to go.
You don't see whitecaps in the Blackwater too much.
You hope not.
I've seen them once or twice though. I ain't gonna lie.
But it doesn't take much wind to start shoving you around if you're trying to fish without anchoring off.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Speaking of that trip, this would be a good way to lead into some of this. Remember you were telling me about your guys' ride out there and all the tree stands that you guys saw out in the marsh and things like that. So Marcia, let's talk a little bit about some updated hunting regulations. Is there anything that the hunters need to know new for 2020 that are coming down here to visit this year?
Well, there might be. Yeah. Smooth lead in there. Yeah, for this year, we're requiring you have to take in and take out your stand. So you can't leave your stand anymore. That's been something that has been pretty controversial for a number of years. There are a lot of people who love that and a lot of people who don't. But the decision was kind of taken away from us this year. It's been a regional mandate that all refuges in our region have to have that. We were one of the only ones that allowed you to put up a tree stand ahead of time and leave it. All the others were take in and take out, just like DNR public lands. So WMAs, for instance, you have to do that as well. So there's this push to be consistent across refuges as well as with your state that you're in. So we had to do that. We had actually asked that question a couple years before. Every few years we try and have a public meeting for hunters, and they can come and we'll share some of our deer survey results, some things that are up and coming, and give them a chance to basically talk and ask any questions that they have. So that was one of the things that we had been hearing a lot about. So we put that question out to them, and we had about 80 people, maybe it was between 60 and 80 people come that morning. It was 2 years ago, and that was one of the questions that was asked is, would you prefer to have a take in, take out instead of leave your stand? And over half of them said they prefer to take in, take out. Now, of course, I also did something on Facebook, too, with the Sick of Deer group, and it was pretty even there as well, and for obvious reasons, you know. It's hard for me to, take in a climber. I'm not very big, and I get exhausted trying to walk it back to where I'm going and then actually climb up it. So I know if, it's not easy for everybody for sure. And to take in a whole stand and put it up, no, I can't do that myself.
Right.
I need help. So I totally empathize with that. But the other side of it is a lot of people go out to their spot and they'll bring their climber or they'll work up to their spot. They get up in there, they don't see anybody, and then somebody comes walking in right before daylight and says, hey, this is my tree stand I put up a month ago. You got to go. Or they'll, have a little altercation or something or things like that. Or worse yet, they'll come to a spot and they'll say, hey, this will be a really awesome spot. But there's 3 other tree stands and they literally, quote, lock up that area, which, you've probably heard all of that. So those aren't fair, especially since that person might only get there 1 or 2 days out of the season and they want to hunt it, and they're there that day. And if you're an ethical and responsible hunter, then you don't want to set up there with taking the chance that that guy or girl is going to come in. So we want to be able to provide opportunity for everybody and have it be as fair as possible. So there's pros and cons to each.
And like you said, it creates a consistency as well for across the WMAs and everything.
Exactly. Nothing different there. And we still have the 2 disabled hunt units. So the one is for those who are mobilely impaired. We have the 5 blinds that set up that were built by National Wild Turkey Federation volunteers and put it up in there. So we had a problem with that one unit, Q2. They helped us out. They helped us solve it. We listened to them, and it's been working pretty darn great. So we're happy about that. And then we also have the other one, U1, where you can have any sort of disability, and you can come in, and you can still erect and leave up a stand there as well.
Oh, you can still.
You can in U1.
Oh, good.
Correct. So we're trying to find, what's the balance that we can do, and we were able to get that exemption for that particular user group.
How about e-bikes this year? Are they still okay?
E-bikes, as of right now,
how did that go last year? I know we had a conversation about there was a concern about how the roads would hold up.
Yes.
I didn't see any great damage anywhere that I hunt.
That's correct. I didn't see any, and I didn't hear anything. I don't know. I don't believe that many people knew that you could use it because it kind of came about very quickly from the department level. Whenever people asked, we told them. We put it on our FAQs for our website right away. So we did not hear or see any problems. And this year you can still do that. I know that there's a rule coming out. I don't think it's going to change anything, but as of right now, you can still use e-bikes only on the hunt roads. So you can't take it off into the woods, but you can totally use it to get to your spots.
Well, one thing with e-bikes is they have a motor on them, and mine, you basically can ride it in the rain, but they recommend that you don't. Which means water holes pretty much are the same way. So, if you're riding through the mud with it, you're playing, which you shouldn't be doing back there anyway. And you just, the more you tear up, the more that the bigger the chance of losing your access. So.
Well, it's just like the parking issue we've been dealing with all summer. It's the same thing. If you're respectful with your access, then you'll continue to have the access with it. Yeah, that's plain and simple.
Yeah, everybody on staff is trying to find ways, and they're spending their time out this summer working out on the roads and the parking lots and such with these flies and heat and everything, trying to do these things so that people can get out there and enjoy it. So the more people can, be polite and respectful of each other as well as the, the actual roads and parking lots and whatnot and each other, that goes a long way. Yeah.
And then you're opening up a new hunting area this year, and I think you got some parking and stuff for that.
We're really excited about this. This is a major acquisition.
Yes, ma'am.
There's been a lot of, discussion about that since last year. So we did purchase about 2,700 acres off Peters Neck. It's called Peters Neck, but also a little bit south of that we call Money Stump as well. That used to be owned by an individual, and 2 hunt clubs were part of that as well. We acquired that and allowed the hunt clubs to continue to hunt through the end of the season. So we didn't actually get on site until March after they cleaned it up. And we have been working really hard since then to open it up for public hunting this fall. So we're super excited that that's going to happen. Our staff is building a new parking lot right off of Harrisville. And that's the Peters Neck section. We'll be able to hunt there, and then also 2 other parking lots off of Smithville. One will be part of that parcel that we got will be expanding Unit S, and the other parcel will be expanding M2. And they'll have new parking lots on either end of those, the south end of S and the north end of M2. So people should be able to park there and get on into those areas nicely this fall.
So all those parking areas will be open before hunting season?
They'll be open for hunting season.
Good.
Yes.
And of course, you have scout days ahead of time.
Yes. Yeah. So that'll all be ready for Scout Days, and we're just excited to be able to open it up for folks to,
Yeah, it's fantastic.
to hunt. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about cameras and baiting and all that kind of stuff on Blackwater versus private land?
Yeah, not allowed.
Plain
just
and
like
simple.
public lands, just like WMAs, you're not allowed to bait, and you're not allowed to leave cameras. You're really not allowed to leave anything on a refuge. That's
Right.
this part with stands as well. So it makes it fair for folks. It makes it hard hunting too. I know I've hunted on the refuge and I've hunted private, so it's tough, but it's a different type of hunting, and you really get a sense of accomplishment when you're actually able to
agree.
harvest something. It is just different and really, really cool. And I've met a lot of great hunters out there hunting and talking to me, and they all, have that passion for going out there and doing it themselves. So
Well, hunters in general, for some reason, and I guess it's just human nature, but they're trashy. They leave a lot of stuff in the woods. I mean, you were telling me when we were riding back to Blackwater that the people that did Blackwater purchased this piece of property from sent a crew in to take out the old stands, and what we saw 3 or 4 that they didn't find.
yeah.
Just out in the marsh, it's just amazing. People put up wooden. A couple of them, man. It's scary that somebody would even think about climbing.
I seen scaffolding out there. I seen all kinds of crazy stuff set up for tree stands.
It's funny. The one in particular was an aluminum ladder
Oh, that thing was terrible.
going up to a wooden ladder that went up about 6 steps to a platform that didn't have a kickback going back to the tree.
Holy
and you
cow.
actually had to climb a little bit. It was a little bit of an angle backwards and the thing. And I was thinking it would be kind of cool to go over and take a look at it, but I know there's some bones down. That stand is just cut big.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody didn't make it up that thing, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. And unfortunately, yeah, we still have some stands that are left up every year on the refuge, too, that shouldn't be. They should have taken them down every year. And, I mean, we all find them. So that's going to be the case as well sometimes.
Before we do anything else, who wants a shirt? Huh? Put in the comments. Give me that shirt, and we'll give you this shirt. Go ahead. So we know we're gonna have some new fishing. How about these new places? No fishing at these new places yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Right. Yep.
So before we go into the next place we think we want to go, let's start talking about some fishing opportunities that are in the works for Blackwater that we've heard a few rumors about on the streets from a couple people here and there in our anonymous sources. So
Well, you did just add some parking.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with the advent of the county doing their parking changes along the road, we've also had the same exact problems along Key Wallace, and they approached us about marking that as no parking because of the farm equipment coming through. The charter buses are going to be coming back through again sooner or later, too. And the fact that the little shoulders on Key Wallace are really falling apart. We knew it wouldn't last forever because that's always falling apart anyways. But in light of knowing that would likely get to be no parking right there, we opened up a new parking lot at the very beginning of Wildlife Drive. So we've been out there striping it, putting in little parking thingy-mabobbers. There's a name for them. I don't know what to call it. Sorry.
The concrete bumpers.
bumper blocks,
Thank you,
whatever.
bumpers. That's it. Bumpers, thingy-mabobbers. Yeah.
Put them
All the above.
just put them thingy-mabobbers over there.
Yeah. That's why I don't do
Google
that.
It'll come right up. Right out of the concrete stop card.
Thank goodness I have people that work for the refuge that know what that's called. And signs and so forth, because we've really been thinking about how can we design this so that the most people can enjoy the fishing that we have right off of Key Wallace, where it's very popular, keep it safe for everybody, safe for themselves as well as for people driving and whatnot, and have it stay clean as well.
Yeah, that's
because
a big thing.
unfortunately every day I come in that way on Mondays, and there's this past Monday there was like a little to-go container, red and white, with a big pop and pop. You guys don't call it pop, do you? Soda. That doesn't sound right.
No,
Pop.
I had a friend from Oklahoma. That's all he ever said was pop. You want to get a pop? I'd be like, what? I mean, for a year, I'd still look like, what? Oh yeah. Let's go get a pop.
Sorry, didn't mean to throw you
No,
off
no,
there.
I love it. No, that's good.
So, those are the things that we're dealing with. And the fact that also we have a soft launch there. That was the Refuge's soft launch right, by Key Wallace Bridge. And we opened it up last year because of all the kayak fishing that started. And that's an amenity that we want to keep for people. However, even though we have no parking signs there, people keep blocking it. They did it today, they did it Monday, they did it the other day, and I want people to be able to access it, but also our staff. And the Nutria folks that work for USDA, they need to be able to back their boat in there and get there to do their job. So those have been some of the problems that we've been having, as well as people parking in the road, and a dog was running out in front of, you know me, I love my dog, so I do not want to hit a dog. You keep that dog safe, as well as your kids.
So people are actually blocking the ramp with vehicles.
Yes. Every day this week that I've been there, and lots of times it says no parking, but they park right there.
Oh, Roy Bradshaw gonna be your new best friend.
And Department of Natural Resources or the Blackwater Natural
And this is what we've been trying to fight against all summer.
Yeah, I know.
You park in the places you're designated to park, and be respectful of the places with no parking signs.
Yes.
It's that simple.
Yeah, it is very simple, and by far the majority of people follow the rules. But you know how it is. One person consistently doing it. So we've opened up the parking down at the end there. We're going to be having new signs that we're putting them in actually today and next week as well as they come in, so that folks can park down there in front of Wildlife Drive and walk to anywhere along there. They'll be able to fish anywhere. They still can right now, too, and do it hopefully safely and have more fun. And we're going to have a drop-off area as well. So it's going to say drop off. You can drop off your kayak. You can drop off your kids, your cooler, whatever. And, leave somebody with your kids.
I was saying, just don't leave your kids and dogs there, okay?
No. See, I got to be very careful.
Can't leave kittens.
We'll keep you straight.
Kittens, puppies, or kids.
Oh, no, don't leave kittens. I'll have to go find homes for them. Stop it. And then another thing that we're doing, given that there's this interest has remained, people keep wanting to, right now they can fish off our soft launch, off the road, off Key Wallace. They can also go down to 335. Yeah. And we've got our launch there, and if you can carry it in and put it in the water, you can fish from there and go up and down the river. But we're also looking at, with the help of partners, in the future, this isn't going to happen tomorrow, it's going to take a while, we want to put in a fishing pier that you could access.
There you go, Tommy. There's the answer to your magic question you just asked.
We want to do it. We have been spending some time this past summer trying to find what would be a good location, because even though you think there's a lot of good locations, there isn't. The big thing is parking. There isn't a lot of options for that, for somebody to get to it. So we're looking at 2 spots. It wouldn't be, you would have to go down Wildlife Drive, and then there's a couple areas that we're considering for parking, and then you would go out to a fishing pier off of Wildlife Drive.
Amazing.
It would be off of Wildlife Drive, because what we want to do is keep Wildlife Drive open for people to enjoy, photograph, see the waterfowl when they come in the winter, bike, walk, whatever. So it would get you to the same exact body of water as Key Wallace, but from a different area. And we actually are meeting, one of my staff was meeting with a contractor today to get some stats on that, the specs and the money, and the Friends of Blackwater. I know you had Rick on.
Yeah, that was a good show. Yeah, love Rick.
And the Friends of Blackwater is all about this. They are here to enhance the refuge for visitors.
So remember, folks, let me interrupt. Friends of Blackwater, look, if you can help, donate some money, $1, $2, $3, 50 cents. Well, there's not much change anymore.
If you want this pier, donate to Friends of Blackwater. They will help get this done. And even if you can't donate, if you shop on Amazon, you change your, instead of www.amazon, it's smile.amazon, and you pick your favorite charity, and you pick Friends of Blackwater, and I think Amazon donates 5 cents for every purchase if you use it that way. It's a fantastic way of donating, even if you can't donate. So
this is just magnificent. I mean, this is big stuff. I mean, this is big stuff for Dorchester. It's big stuff for Blackwater. This is big stuff for the whole entire hunting and fishing community and the wildlife community, because Blackwater is more than just hunting and fishing, and we got to always remember that. We've got the people that come just for photography, got people that come and just want to look at butterflies, got people that come that just want to walk through the butterfly garden. You know what I mean?
That's what people need to understand is Blackwater originally and still is a waterfowl refuge. It's for to support and breeding grounds and habitat for waterfowl. All this other stuff is just a plus, I guess. So that's what people need to understand. It's not that anybody's trying to stop you from doing anything. It's just that if it works in concession with the purpose of Blackwater, then they try to make it happen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Some of our primary uses that we think fit well with the refuge are hunting, fishing, wildlife observation, photography, environmental education, and interpretation.
Right.
So if we can find ways and places to do that, we do. For instance, if you go off 335, off the ramp there, we redid that parking lot about 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, when I got here, and because it wasn't used much before Snakehead, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, there's tons of people. So we're like, we gotta make people fit in here better. So we needed, striping and think about that. So we did. But you can go and you can fish from there during the summer, during the spring through fall, basically April 1st through the end of September. And then it closes for waterfowl, because when the geese and the swans and all the ducks come in, that is the area where they go to hang out, so to speak. And so then it's closed. So you can't kayak back there, you can't fish back there, but the rest of the year you can. So that's an example of how we try and manage that wildlife resource so that it's there for everybody, but yet at the same time you can do these activities as well. And quite honestly, almost everybody, visitors, whether hunters or anglers or whatever, people oftentimes like to do more than one thing.
Oh, absolutely.
So there's so many people who love to go out and hunt, and they're actually big birders. They might not admit it to some people. Or they love to fish and they love to take pictures. You guys were showing some great photos that have been showing up on your sites.
Oh, people that want to see eagles, my
Oh,
God.
yes.
We see probably 8 or 10 that day, and a
Oh,
lot
more
of
than
times
that,
it's
yeah.
I mean, it's nothing. We saw 5 nests, and so, and there's a couple nests back there that are incredible.
If
There's
you,
one
if you
like
can't
the size of
appreciate
a
nature when
Volkswagen.
you're out, you're
Right.
doing it wrong.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what part of it.
And there's some people who like to go fish off a bridge, and there's a big highway there, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But then there's others who want to fish and have that whole natural experience and not hear the highway and the cars. And that's what the refuge is about. We want you to experience the refuge, the wildlife, the whole enchilada, so to speak.
But I can honestly say I have not taken anyone back on the Blackwater that this isn't in all. Now, what they're saying about me, I don't know.
Hey, I'll tell you after the show, bro.
But as far as the landscape,
I've been wearing a
It's
body
just
cam that
amazing.
nobody knows about, bro.
it's just absolutely amazing place to be.
Um,
Never get tired of it.
Well, I'm thinking about it from Damien and Cornflower at the Bait Boys. You want that sticker? Right, give me that sticker in the comments. We'll give you that sticker. So you said I just want to talk about this. Chiggers. You said you like turkey. Am I the only one who's having like chigger issues this year here? Or I mean,
You got to learn to spray, man.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can't spray when you come in.
That's
well, I will tell you
The whole
this.
trick.
This is what I noticed this week. Okay, so like I told you, this week's pretty much been hanging out with the dogs in the air conditioner, relaxing. Man, this is the first time I've been chigger free all year, bro.
Well, I can tell you, you give Frontline or whatever you give your dogs, that keeps them from attaching, but it doesn't. It's even with ticks, it doesn't keep them from getting on them, and they'll come in and rub up against you, and bingo.
Yep, they'll run
Yeah.
right on you.
Oh,
Those little
yeah.
I
ticks
can't tell you
especially.
how many times
Well,
that my healer's gone out in the woods and brought poison ivy back to me.
that's what I was
From
saying
running
buddy
through
the
the
other day.
woods.
My
Oh,
buddy
my
said,
God, come in and
buddy
rub
said,
up
yeah, but
against
you
you."
just said you got them dogs laying all over you. 'Cause I couldn't figure out how I had chiggers under my shirt. Because usually when I get them, they're like at the pant line, at the sock line. They're like somewhere like that.
permethrin.
I
Tell
tried
you,
drinking that last week, man. I got really, really sick, dude. Is there anything else I can try?
I
bro?
can't imagine why.
Don't say that. Look how many people got. Look how Trump got in all that trouble.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't drink that.
Yeah.
Don't drink that.
Oh,
What else have we got unfolding in Blackwater that we don't know of? Anything? Anything else you can think of?
let's see. We talked about the hunt expansion. We talked about the fishing.
New areas.
The new areas.
Trash. Let me ask you something. You
yeah.
said something about trash. So, you think the anglers can do a better job with the trash? Is that?
I think everybody can.
Okay.
That's everybody. It's not. I'm not pointing at the anglers. You know how it is. One person comes up and unloads everything, blows out of their truck or something,
Right.
and it can look a lot worse.
Right.
We all can.
So I just think it's a matter of everybody just doing like we all do here. You know, if you see it, pick it up, man. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. Pick it up if it's near you, even if it's not your own.
Two things I'm thinking of. I've had a lot of people ask me about, because I talk about it a lot, and they'll ask me, where do you get your bow license? Do you go to Blackwater and get it? And the answer,
I was talking about
That's
that.
a great.
And the answer is no, you don't.
No, you don't.
Great,
Good.
yeah. You want me to talk
And
about that?
also that and the visitor center, which is closed at this present
Yes.
time.
Yes. So I'll start with that one because that's easy. We're closed at the present time. What we are doing as far as COVID goes is following the state guidelines. So we have the visitor center has been closed and will continue to stay closed until we go into the next phase. But the wildlife drive, fishing, hunting, everything else has gone on unhampered. We did have to, because of the restrooms, we did put in, get rented porta potties at 2 locations. So at the beginning of Wildlife Drive and off of Woods Trail, so folks can still, take care of business. Yes. But luckily we didn't have to interrupt our turkey hunt this spring because we went online with recreation.gov. So when we went online, there's a lot of pros and cons to that, but it's just what we had to do. And fortunately for these times of COVID, it actually was a useful thing because we didn't have to have somebody going in, getting mail and processing and doing all that. So you go online for any permits for hunting at recreation.gov. You can get that for Blackwater as well as for Eastern Neck too. So Blackwater's hunt permits opened up on July 2nd and Eastern Neck's opens up next week on August 4th. And Eastern Neck, we only have 100 people per day for the regular hunts and 50 people per day for youth and disabled hunts. So you'll want to get on there. That usually fills up pretty quick. So you just go online, get your permit through there, and it's all digital. You don't need, you can just download it, gets sent straight to your email.
And it is first come, first served now compared to where it was a lottery before. Is that correct? Or
Well, yes, that's correct. Yep. And all the days are unlimited except for the limited day, which is the opening of muzzleloader and the opening of shotgun. That's where there's a limited number that are sold, and those are first come, first serve. And you can go on there and see how many how many permits are left at any point.
that's
So
specifically what I was talking about.
yes.
Me who has not been online yet to do
Oh,
that.
that's right. That's right. Because before you had to do everything by October 1st. Now,
Right.
if you say, hey, I don't know if I want to hunt in January, you can wait and get our late shotgun hunt the day before if you want. You don't have to buy it now. You can wait till then. So
And I will put this out. It just so happens that there are some days right around Christmas and New Year's that if you look at it and you have the opportunity to be able to hunt those days, might be a good thing to look into.
yeah.
I'll tell you something, be a good thing to look into is who wants to win that sticker. All you got to do right now is say, give me that sticker in the comments. We're going to give you that sticker. You can pick it up at the Wolford store. Before I lose this question, I have a lot of people ask me about, can I go on Blackwater anytime? So I think the public needs to know that because they see a sign that says Blackwater Area F, am I allowed to go on there, right now and just look around and hike and just spend my day?
That's a great question.
Right. 'Cause
Yes.
we're having some issues with that, so that's why I
Okay.
wanted to kind of bring that up.
Sure. Yeah. The hunt units are only open for hunting and you have to have a permit. So all the areas of a refuge are closed automatically until you open it through regulation. And so Wildlife Drive is open from sunrise to sunset. We have trails that are open and those are indicated on our maps. You can get them online, download them really easy. But the hunt units are closed except for hunting season. So you can't go into there.
So to these guys that think they can see something on Google Maps and it looks like it might be a snakehead area,
Correct.
don't do it.
Right.
And you just don't want to do it. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
not
it's
just that.
no different than during hunting season. If you don't have a hunting permit, you can't be there.
Right.
Doesn't give you open access to walk the property.
I think the coolest thing is that we're watching all this stuff happen. You know what I mean? And I think the neatest part is that we're all part of what's unfolding, and it's been a total team effort from day one. And the only reason that we've gotten where we've gotten is because we have asked for help, you know? And I just want to take a minute to say thank you to Marcia for everything that you've done, for listening to us, and
Absolutely.
Well, thank
you
you
know,
guys
giving
for
up the time to listen to us. You know what I mean? Because it really means a lot to not just me, but I think it means a lot to the community as a whole to see us all kind of do this kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, working with the county, the way we got through that, you know, we've had all kinds of speed bumps pop up. Every time we think something's going great, boom, we got something that hits the deck. You know what I mean?
Isn't that life?
Well, I know, but the coolest thing is nobody here has said, screw this, man, and thrown the towel in. You know what I mean?
It's never as good as you think, and it's never as bad as you think.
You're right.
That's right.
You know,
It's always in the middle.
And I'll tell you a lot of reason for that. There's personal interest in the number one thing.
That's right.
When you put the good of everybody above what you want, it's a lot easier to make a sound decision.
That's absolutely right.
Unless you give me a peanut butter milkshake from Dairy Queen, it's going to be really hard for me to make a decision.
Hey, I'll fight you for that.
Have you had them?
I love peanut butter milkshake.
Look, I'm not trying to plug Dairy
Marcy,
Queen.
You shouldn't have said that.
I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to plug Dairy Queen, but like Eddie, where are we going that night? I said, Eddie,
We
got to
were
meet
going
me
to
at
the county council.
Oh yeah, we were on our way to the county council. And they said, where are you at? I said, well, I'm over here, but I got to go to Dairy Queen and get me a peanut butter milkshake before we do anything. You know?
Well, have you ever heard of their secret menu?
No.
There's a secret menu, and there's a peanut butter thing on the secret menu that's delicious.
So
I can't remember what it's called.
How do I get to that rank? What do I got to do? Spend
You just
$500 a
ask
day
it.
or what? No,
You just say, hey, can you make me a peanut butter, whatever it's called, which I don't remember.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, you can do it.
You're gonna be there, ain't you, Eddie? You're going up
No,
there.
man.
I've gotten it
No.
at the Dairy Queen in Cambridge too. Yeah.
How's your ankle, Eddie?
It's getting better. Getting better. It's not quite 100% yet. But
For those of you who don't know, Eddie said something smart to him, and I did the little side sweep that I learned watching the Karate Kid on him and hurt his ankle a little bit. So.
if you did a side sweep, I'd pay to see that. That's pay-per-view right there.
But seriously, I can't thank you guys enough for being, coming and talking and being courteous and just, I know you guys all want the best for everybody, and so do we. So it goes so far because, sometimes people get mad about things. They don't understand everything that's going on, and it they can.
We see it all the time, you look at some of the other sites and you just see
exactly.
the wailing away, and you sometimes just gotta take it, man. You know what I mean? I get beat up all the time on all these other sites, and
Right.
you know what, man? It doesn't bother me. It doesn't make me want to stop doing what I'm doing. If anything, it makes me hungry. It makes me just want to show you,
But we
how
can
good
get,
I am, So.
We can get so much more done together.
Absolutely.
So and
Absolutely.
that's absolutely
Absolutely.
what you see going on. So
you
thank
share. I mean, it's like taking you back there that day. That's a bigger kick, just taking Eddie fishing. I get to fishing pretty much when I want. Eddie, to take Eddie and get it's like taking somebody for the first one this year.
Yeah, this year.
Right.
But yeah, that's what it's all about.
Well,
Before we forget, we've got our picture of the week.
oh yeah, and we got a good one this week. Look, this guy can do some serious action stuff. So, I've met Dave a couple times. Oh, I didn't mean to say his name.
That's
This
all
guy
right.
can do really good stuff. So.
There's a lot of Daves out there.
Yeah.
That's a common name.
Dave ain't here.
So anyway, David Inscore, man, we're giving you the angler spotlight of the week, man. That is just a badass picture, man.
That's a good one.
That is badass. And for those of you that don't know Dave, he does some really, really amazing work with film and editing and stuff like that. And he's just a stand-up dude. So if you don't know Dave, go check him out. Check out the Kayak Film Festival. I think that's his thing over there. So yeah, it's some neat stuff, man, for sure. And we're going to give him a Snakehead sticker, right?
Right, Snakehead Life sticker. Yeah.
So Dave, you can pick up a snakeheadlife.com sticker here at the store anytime you want. And you can bring me one of yours if you want to. We'll swap them out. So, I don't know. I think it was a pretty good show. What do you guys think? Good deal?
I don't have any one mores.
You any more one mores? Any more one mores? Do you know how to sing, Marcia? Yeah, baby. Here we go. It's time. It's now. The Sunday Fun Day giveaway. And look, here are your sponsors here at the Blackwaters Edge podcast from our good friends out at MEPS. Look, Caleb Fisher, you were bragging this week on our page about $1 spinnerbaits. Look, man, we know anything can catch a snakehead, but look, I want to give you that right there, that MEPS hot pink double barb treble hook inline spinner, number 5. That's for you, baby. You don't got to use them $1 spinner baits anymore, all right, brother? From WickedStickers.com, my good friend Eris Matos out there, Wicked Stickers. If you need pens, look, he makes these beautiful pens right here. I got lots of them from myself. But look, pens, coffee mugs, shirts, hats, stickers. I don't care what you need. Eris can make you anything that you need, underwear, bras, whatever you want. Eris will make it for you, okay? So Mary Stopford, you're going to get the crab stand package this week out at the crab stand from WickedStickers.com. Stonebridge Grill out there in Maryland line, right there, my good friend Mitch. Look, if you've never had food from the Stonebridge Grill, you just don't know what you're missing. The chicken wings there are to die for. I'm not kidding you. The crab cakes, True Blue, baby, all the way. Maryland crab meat, jumbo lump. That's where you want to be. Soft crabs, he's got them too. Soft crab sliders. If you've never had a soft crab BLT, go see Mitch. He'll fix you right up. You get a $20 gift card from the Stonebridge Grill. Kathy Evans, you get that card. From our good friend Steve Rogers out there at Outlaw Barbecue in Carroll County. Look, if you don't know Steve, you're just not an outlaw. Look, lots of outlaws know Steve, and you know what I mean there, big boy. All right, look, from Outlaw Barbecue, we're going to give you a $20 gift card. You can come out there and get some of that wonderful cheesecake that we get here at the Wolfer store, and Patrick comes down here and brings it for us. My favorite is that coffee cake. I ain't kidding you, that coffee cake's to die for. But look, anything barbecue-wise, man, ribs are to die for out there. He's had crab cakes this week. He's been selling as fast as he can get them. So get out there, see Steve, and get you some Outlaw Barbecue. John Harmon, you're going to get that gift card. From the crab stand, from me, myself, and I'm going to give you a dozen live Maryland crabs. 100% guaranteed Maryland crabs from right here on the Eastern Shore. The Little Chop Tank River, the Hunger River. I don't know where they're coming from, but they're coming from all over the Eastern Shore, and they're good. So Eric Malagar, David Wright, each of you get a dozen crabs. So for the giveaways during the show, we had Doug Whitfield, you get the shirt. Jason Garrison, you get the Bait Boy sticker. And our good friend Robert Ballantyne, you're going to get that Snakehead sticker. So look, folks, we can't thank you enough for everything. Oh, one more thing right here. Look. Hey, right now before I hang up. Who wants this raffle ticket right now? Give me that raffle ticket right now. Come on, put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. I'm waiting. Come on. Jason, I know them soft crabs you got from the crab stand were the best, brother. I don't sell junk. All right, come on. That raffle ticket. All right, folks, while we're waiting on a winner for the raffle ticket, look, you know that crabby jingle we sing out here at the crab stand? Look, I've got Gary. I've got Eddie. You guys singing?
Nope.
Marcia, are you singing?
What am I singing?
Oh, my Lord. I'm going to sing it to you.
You want to get a Dairy Queen sing.
My crabs, they have 3 first names. It's heavy, full, and fat. My crabs, they have a 4th name. Absolutely mustard pat. So if you ask me where they're from, they're 100% guaranteed Maryland number ones. At the crab stand, here's a fact I know for sure you're coming back. Kapow! Kapow! And kapow! We'll see you next Thursday, folks.
Give the ticket away.
Oh, who's the ticket? Jason Garrison, you get the ticket. There you go, buddy.